Right, Keith, we've got to address this issue of these boats coming across the channel. We thought it was going to be a temporary phenomena, maybe a few hundred people involved, a few desperate people trying to get into the country. Now we realise it's an invasion. It's going on and on. More and more boats are being assembled. Thousands of people are crossing over the channel coming into Britain. Illegal immigrants. It's an invasion. They're 99% young men, fit men, could easily be part of an army because they could serve in an army. And France seems to be in on it. I mean, the French Navy are taking these boats into the centre of the channel and then they're handing them over to the British to bring them into Britain. This is not just the acts of desperate people. This is an invasion. What's the root of it, Keith? Who's behind it?
For me, Paul, it seems like Macron and France are organising it, and someone in Britain is helping them along, whether it's the Navy or whatever, but it's definitely organised, Paul. Every day. These boats cost £5,000 a time, and they're just coming over, and hordes of them. And like Nigel Farage is highlighting it every day, and they're watching, like you said, hundreds are coming every day, and they're filling the hotels up and whatever. It is an organised thing. They're not desperate to get away. They're in good clothes, they've got best phones, they've got the best gear, and they all young men fighting AIDS. They don't look sick or ill or nothing. They don't look like they're fleeing from war or anything. They look fit and healthy.
There's no war in France, is there?
No.
Now what we're seeing is that initially they were coming in and he thought a few desperate refugees would put them up in hotels. Then they filled all the hotels. Now they're going to open army barracks, and they realise there's something behind this. Something really sinister. Now we know that Erdogan, the president of Turkey, has just pushed 100,000 Muslim so-called refugees out of Turkey into Europe, and they're being targeted to get to the channel, to get to the beaches on the channel, and to get over to Britain. Boris has got to respond to this. He can't sit back and say we'll just have to manage this. He's got to stop it. Yeah. Didn't we see the same thing with Trump when Trump got into power? The political forces that are opposed to Boris are organising this, and it's for me what they're trying to do is to undermine and embarrass Boris and break his move to totally have a clean Brexit. This is about keeping Britain tied into the EU, embarrassing Boris and bringing down the government. It is that sinister.
Yeah, I agree, Paul. Like Trump had something similar. Theirs were coming by road, and he's strong. He stood up against it. Thousands were heading to break through into America, but ours, the difference between America, ours are coming in Britain. They're coming over in boats, but Trump was strong, and like you said, Boris has got to be strong. We can't just keep letting them come in. Priti Patel, they've got to do the job. Home Secretary, she's got to be out there. It's no good. They make these statements, they're going to stop, and then every day, Paul, more and more are coming, and they're sending pictures over in the best hotels to their friends in France or wherever else they're coming over from, and they're making their way here because they're getting put up in the best hotels. The best coaches are waiting for them. It's organised, Paul. People will come if they're going to put you up in 4- and 5-star hotels. You pay for nothing, give you all food and water. They're going to come over, Paul.
What they're doing is simply pushing the boundaries. They're pushing through the boundary, and no one's pushing back. I mean, Boris says he's hemmed in by all these laws, the international maritime laws, the European Human Rights Act, the UN Refugees Acts. But you've got to show the will to want to stop this. If the will is there, the action will follow. Boris is being far too passive, far too compliant in this situation. He's got to make a stand. He's got to assert himself. He's the leader. Now, if he doesn't assert himself, we know there's people in the Conservative government, the Common Sense group, which is 40 strong. It's up to them to assert themselves. It's up to Tory MPs to assert themselves. It's up to the British people to assert themselves. We can't allow this to go on. We know that there is 2,000 immigrants entering Britain every single day. Day in, day out. 750,000 a year. This is just part of the invasion. This is more than 12 million immigrants have entered Britain since 1997. This is an invasion of our nation. This is a replacement of the British people, the indigenous population, by foreigners. It's a takeover of our country. It's a total undermining of our country. We've got to stop it. We've got to first of all acknowledge it's happening, but we've got to really move politically to stop it. And this is what Boris has got the majority. Do you think he's going to react, Keith?
Well, you'd like to think so, like you said, Paul. The majority he's got power now with him. He can bring in all laws. He can't be stopped.
Yeah.
You know, we need laws to secure our borders. The idea was to come out of Europe and secure this country, and just not like they wanted an Australian type thing, that if you come into this country, a point system, you were doing something. It wasn't supposed to be like this, Paul. Everyone just coming in. Nothing's changed. Things are getting worse instead of getting better. If anything, it's just. I just can't. Where's it going to stop? How many people? Is it going to bankrupt the country? Is it like you undermined him? We're told we can't meet in people 6 and all this other things, and we can't. And they're coming over in boats, and it's going to overwhelm.
It's panic stations, really, isn't it now?
How does the economy going to cope with these people, Paul?
Well, not only the economy, we haven't got the housing anymore. The country is vastly overpopulated. The population is surging towards 70 million plus. We're having to build on the green belts. We haven't got enough school places. It's desperate, and it's costing us billions. It's costing us a huge amount of money to pay for this invasion of our country.
Yeah.
Now, we've given Boris an 80-seat majority. He is leaving the European Union. He's reinstating the sovereignty of Parliament. He controls Parliament. He can make the laws. If he wants to withdraw from international treaties, he can do so. He has the power to do that because the people have invested the power in him in a general election. We need action on this issue. We need really the cabinet to make a stand and to make a statement, not an empty rhetoric that we're going to do something about it or we don't like it. They're going to have to show how they're going to stop it, and soon, not later, sooner. It's got to happen now. Actually, now is the time for action. He can't delay it any further because the invasion is gaining momentum. They're not just arriving in the port of Dover now, they're arriving on the beaches of Kent, the beaches of Sussex, the beaches of Hampshire. And we've seen what happens in Greece, we've seen what happened in Italy. It just gets bigger and bigger until someone takes a stand. I mean, Salvini took a stand in Italy and he stopped it for a time.
Yeah.
It's politics that's behind all this. Politics. And it's the politics of national destruction which is taking place. But we want our nation to survive. We want Boris to raise the Union flag and preserve this nation and save it for future generations. Boris, you've got to rise to the challenge. Yeah. You've got to make a stand. You can't fudge this issue anymore.
Yeah, Keith? I agree, Paul. I mean, the soldiers are coming back, Paul. The soldiers are getting left in the streets, no help. Where's the government helping the soldiers who's fought for the country? They're all sleeping in doorways and there's no help for our soldiers. And like you said, we're helping. People are just coming in from other countries. We don't know what the background is, and we've had so many attacks. So, Paul, Boris, just you've got the majority, Boris. Don't let the British people down. Boris, it's all about.
Because there are other issues as well as a security issue.
Yeah.
These people are a danger to us. It's the cost of them. They have no right to take off the British people. We're being taxed to death already. There's a question of space. There is not enough space to accommodate this. There's a question of the integrity of our nation. Yeah. They're taking a mickey. They're making us look like fools. Boris, raise your game. Get it sorted.